Welcome back to another video, everybody. I hope you enjoy your day. Today is going to be quite a bit of a video, seeing as we're doing the patch notes. The uber long, billions of changes patch notes. So if you're not in for all of the changes, I'm gonna try to put timestamps for the different things. So like item changes or shielding changes or uh, just overall stuff, right? But yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Not gonna waste too much time because I want to release this video like tomorrow, and it's Tuesday and tomorrow's Wednesday. But yeah, patch 12.10 notes. We got some changes, system changes. So shields, grievous wounds, heals, and vamp are all getting tweaked. Champion durability, everybody's getting more base health, HP per level, armor per level, and magic resist per level. Also, this armor thing doesn't apply to Thresh because of some of his changes. There's obviously the new High Noon skins that are piggybacking off of the last one, which is High Noon Scion, Victor, Samira, Tom Kench, and Twitch. And apparently there's an adjustment for Swain as well. Champion durability update. So everybody is getting, like, every champ is getting more stats in general at base, right? So everybody's getting 70 HP with 14 health growth added on, as well as 1.2 armor growth and 0.8 magic resist growth. Poor Lost Soul, Thresh will receive an adjusted durability base stat package, and we'll see it later on. But essentially, a lot of the systems have been very like unhealthy for the game. Too much healing, too much damage. Tanks are one-shotting 80 carries without building a single like actual damage item. So it's getting ridiculous. A big takeaway here is that our goal is not to nerf sustain, since each champion utilizes sustain differently. So they're saying that, and they're nerfing healing, but they're also nerfing anti-heal. But again, a lot of these issues stem from the fact that anti-heal feels worthless to buy, so I'm not too sure why they're nerfing anti-heal in the first place. It should be very effective against the champions that are constantly out healing everything, because there's items like Gore Drinker in the game or Rift Maker, and these champions are healing literally hundreds of HP with one ability cast. It's not very fair. But we'll see here. Healing is reduced by about 10% in the earlier game and 28% in the later part of the game. So it goes almost up to like 30% like nerf by late game, but it's not really nerfed all that much in the early game. Shielding has been reduced by about 10%. Omnivamp is reduced by about 10% as well. Although Omnivamp should be changed. There should not be Omnivamp. It should just be Lifesteal or Spell Vamp. If they're gonna go with any kind of vamp at all, it should not be Omnivamp. You should have to build into the specific type of sustain that you want. Grievous Wounds used to be 40% reduced healing, is now 30% reduced healings, and Enhanced Grievous Wounds used to be 60 and it's now 50%. Okay, so they're trying to say that the fights might last a little bit longer, but it shouldn't affect certain champions as much as the other ones, and they're gonna see how it is. If you don't change the way your runes are or the way you're building, you might have varied results. Now, on to specific champions. Aatrox, his E healing against champions used to be 20 to 30%, is now 18 to 26% of damage dealt. His empowered E during his ult used to be 26 to 50, is now 25 to 45. His increased self-healing used to be 30 to 60%, now is 25 to 55. Again, not really that much. It's not really going to change it. Aatrox is still going to be hella annoying to play against. Her passive heal used to be 40 to 120 plus 25% of her AP, scaling with level, obviously, and now it's 35 to 95 plus 20% of her AP, also scaling with level. And then passive healing upon champion takedown. Keep in mind that's the first one against minions and monsters. Now against champion takedown, it used to be 80 to 200 based on level plus 35% AP. Now it's 75 to 165 1 to 18 plus 30% of AP. So the ratio is going down for both minions and champion takedown as well as the base stats. Akshon, his passive shield used to be 40 to 300 with 40% of his bonus AD. Now it's 40 to 280 based on level plus 35% of base AD, or bonus AD rather. Alistar's heal, 25 to 161 is now 23 to 142 based on level, and apparently it's still doubled for allies. Decent action nerf without really getting rid of his early game power almost at all. Alistar, nobody's really picking him all that much for his passive, but it's a decent enough little nerf to the sustain that he gives his AD carry. Any shield used to be 40 to 240 plus 40% of AP. It's now 40 to 220 with 35% of AP. So she's not going to be shielding as much the later the game goes on with her massive amounts of AP. Aphelios is getting Giga changed a little bit. So Severum, which is I believe the healing gun, it used to be healing from auto attacks 3 to 10%, is now 2.5 to 9% based on level of the damage dealt. And then Severum healing from attacks from abilities, it used to be 9 to 30, is now 8.3 to 30% of the damage dealt. The overheal shielding from Severum is unchanged. And our Severum heal upon champion hit, it used to be 275 to 525. Now it's 250 to 450 based on level 611 16. So a little less sustained from Aphelios, but again, he builds lifesteal a lot of the time. He also builds half of the time I see Aphelios, he's either using Gale Force or he's using Shield Bow. So I think it's going to make him a little less oppressive in the laning phase, but other than that, perfectly fine. Azir's shield used to be 80 to 240 with 70% of his AP. Now it's 70 to 230 with 60% of his AP. So not really that much of a change, only like -10 in almost all ranks. Or actually is at all ranks, but it's not really going to change much. Bard's W, the minimum heal used to be 30 to 150 with 30% of his AP. Now it's 25 to 125 with 30% of his AP still. So they didn't nerf the scaling, but they did nerf the base. And then the maximum heal used to be 60 to 240. It's now with 68% of AP. His AP scalings are unchanged, but now it's 50 to 200 instead of, it's 40 less at the maximum rank. I think it's going to nerf him a decent amount that he can't really roam all that much for triumphs. He has to stay more in lane, stuff like that. Camille's adaptive shield, it's now down to 17% from 20% maximum HP. Not really going to change much. She's still going to deal half of your HP with her Q. Is what it is. Cassiopeia, healing against poison targets used to be 12 to 20% of her AP. Now it's 10 to 16%, and it's still reduced by 75% against minions and small monsters, so that's good. Cho'gath's passive healing used to be 20 to 71, is now 18 to 52 based on level. Decent nerf to his laning phase, honestly. It's going to make it harder for him to keep sustaining in lane if you chunk him down. Darius's Q healing against champions and monsters used to be 15%, now it's 13% of missing HP per enemy hit by blade up to 3. Again, Darius thrives off of dealing a lot of damage and then also sustaining a little bit of his HP every Q in the minion wave or fighting you, so that he just whittles you down while staying about the same for himself. So this will take him down a little bit, but not very much. Diana W Shield used to be 30 to 90 with 30% of AP and 10% bonus health. Now it's 25 to 85 with 25% of AP and 9% bonus health. So a tiny little bit nerf there. Not really that much. Again, Diana doesn't really stack her shielding and whatnot. Mundo's are increased base health. It used to be 15 to 25%. Is now 15 to 20% of missing health. Again, Mundo, not always in a great spot, but he's a good damage soak, and the R is okay. Echo's W Shield used to be 80 to 160 with 150% of AP. Is now 70 to 150 with 150. So the scaling isn't changed, but the base is nerfed. Elise, passive spider form. The healing from basic attacks used to be 4 to 10% with 10% of AP. Now it's 4 to 10 with 8% of AP. So they're not nerfing the base damage of it. They're just nerfing the scaling with your AP. Again, Elise is not super great right now, so I don't know why they're doing that. Fiora's passive healing against Vitals used to be 40 to 115, and it's now 35 to 100 based on level. And the R heal per second used to be 60 to 140 plus 60% of bonus AD is now 70. Oh, wait, that's actually 80, not 60. 75 to 125 plus 60. So base damage is reduced, and it's still the same scaling. Fiddlesticks, his W healing against monsters used to be 50%. Now it's 45%. And again, it's still only 15% against minions, so he can't just out-sustain you in lane. And the W healing against champions used to be 30 to 70%. Now it's 25 to 55% of the damage dealt. So that's a pretty big nerf. He can't just run at you now and just heal his entire health bar if there's like 4 people nearby. It'll heal 3/4 of it, but not his full health bar. Galio's W magic damage shield, it used to be 8 to 15%, is now 7.5 to 13.5% of his maximum HP as a shield. Again, Galio is very strong in a 1v1 half the time, but his magic shield was never really an issue, I think, but they're just doing this as a precautionary measure. Gangplank's W heal used to be 50 to 150 plus 15% of your missing HP. It's now 45 to 145 plus 13% of missing HP. It's not too bad of a nerf. Again, GP is like giga fucking strong for no reason, but it's a decent nerf. It's not too bad. Garen's passive health regen used to be 1.5 to 10.1%. It's now 1.2 to 9% based on level. Maximum health recovery every 5 seconds. His W shield also went from 70 to 170 plus 20% of bonus HP to 65 to 145 plus 18% of bonus health. So if you build, let's say, Tank Garen, you're not going to see too much of a change. But if you build like his regular build with like Triforce or Stride Breaker and Mortal Reminder, you're going to see a noticeable difference. Gragas' passive heal used to be 8% of maximum health. It's now 6.5. Decent hit to laning. Gwen's passive healing against champions is down 10% from damage dealt. And the passive maximum healing against champions used to be 12 to 30 plus 7% of your AP based on level. Now it's 10 to 25 with 0.5 less percent AP scaling as well based on level. Alawi's passive Denticle used to heal her for 5%. It's now 4% of her missing HP upon hitting at least one enemy champion. So a little bit less healing, but again, I don't think 1% less healing is going to matter too much unless you're in a straight 1v1. Maybe not at all. Irelia's Q heal is getting a whopping 5% nerf at the max rank and a 1% nerf at the earlier rank. Again, I don't know why her Q has to have a heal if she's always building lifesteal. I hope at some point they figure out a way to get rid of the Q healing because it's a little bit out of control half the time. Again, Irelia is just a whole can of words that we're not going to talk about it, okay? Ivern and E-Shield, it used to be 80 to 220 with 80% of your AP. It's now 70 to 190 with 75% of AP. So nerfing the base damage and the scaling a little bit, not too bad. Janet E-Shield used to be 80 to 200 with 65% of her AP. It's now 75 to 175, scaling unchanged. And her R healing per second used to be 100 to 200 with 50% of AP, but now it's 90 to 200. So they nerfed the early game of Janna a little bit, the early mid game, and reduced the AP ratio, but they didn't nerf the base at the later stage. Jarvan W Shield, the base shield used to be 60 to 160. Now it's 60 to 140. Not too bad. The W Shield increase, it goes to 1.3% of maximum HP per enemy champion hit instead of 1.5. So again, not too much of an issue. Kai'Sa, her R shield used to be 75 to 125 based on percentage AD and AP. Now it's 70 to 110. Scaling up to 100%, 180% of her AD and 90% of her AP. So down 20% of max reg for AD and 10% AP on the scalings. Apparently, Katarina doesn't need any other nerf other than her R Grievous Wounds going from 60% to 50%. She needs changes because some of her builds are just unfun to play against. Kale's W heal is pretty inconsequential, but I guess it's getting nerfed. It's 60 to 180 with 30% of AP. It's now 55 to 155 with 25% of AP. So this thing means that like if you go the 80 Kale build, you're gonna suffer heavily from the W healing, and it's not gonna be much. Then again, her W healing has never been much in this current iteration of her kit, so it's basically useless. It's an even more useless ability at this point, other than the movement speed. Kane, the passive Darken Slayer, healing from abilities against champions. It used to be 30 to 40% based on levels 1 to 16. Now it's 25 to 35% based on levels 1 to 18 of physical damage dealt. The E-heal used to be 100 to 160 plus 40% of bonus AD. It is now 90 to 130 plus 35% of bonus AD. He still heals a little bit too much in my opinion, but again, it's Kane. He's never balanced. The R Darken Slayer heal when you're in, I believe, the red form, used to be 10.5% of it used to be 10.5% of the target's maximum HP plus 9.1% per 100 bonus AD that you had. Now that is down by 0.75%, and it's instead of 9.1% per 100 bonus AD, it's 8.45% per 100 bonus AD. Kha'Zix, W heal went from 60 to 160 plus 50% of your AP is now 55 to 135. Scaling unchanged because nobody plays AP Kha'Zix. Kindred, your W passive from full stacks, it used to be 49 to 100, is now 47 to 81 based on missing health. Your R heal used to be 250 to 400, is now 225 to 375. Not too much of a nerf, but again, it's going to make it easier to kill whoever's in the R after it expires, right? Kled, the passive Scarl's health upon returning used to be 50 to 80%, is now 45 to 75%. So only a tiny bit of nerf based on levels 1 to 16. And the Q-mounted Grievous Wounds went from 60% to 50%. Lee, the first part, the W Shield, 55 to 275 with 80% of your AP has now been reduced to 50 to 250. So they lose 5 shielding early and 25 shielding late, but the AP scaling is completely unchanged. And the bonus lifesteal and spell vamp from your second W, it used to be 5 to 25%, is now 5 to 23%. So it's literally a slap on the wrist. It doesn't really change anything. Lilia, the passive healing against large monsters, used to be 27 to 104 based on level with 6% of your AP. It is now 24 to 75 based on level and 5.4% of AP. So the scaling is a little bit worse, but the base damage got more than a little bit of a nerf. And the passive healing against champions used to be 12 to 140 based on level and 20% of your AP. It's now 11 to 125 based on your level and 18% of AP. So this one is more of a slap on the wrist, and this one nerfs her jungle sustain quite a bit. Lissandra, our minimum self heal used to be 100 to 200 with 30% of AP. It's now 90 to 190 with 25% of AP. So the base healing and the scaling has gone down. Lulu, the E shield, 80 to 240 with 40% of AP is now 75 to 215 with 35% of AP. So it's going to be a little bit easier to kill now. And the R bonus health used to be 300 to 600 with 50% of your AP. It's now 275 to 575 with 45% of your AP. So the scaling took a decent chunk. And then the base is basically just 25 less at all ranks. It's a slap on the wrist. Lux, her W shield, which has never been super strong. The scaling with your AP has remained the same, but the base has gone down by 5 at the first rank and 25 at the last rank. Malphite, his passive shield, down 1% of his maximum HP. Not too big of a deal, it's Malphite. If you're building him AP, it's going to impact you even more. If you're building regular tank, you're not really going to see too much of a difference. Maokai, the passive healing from empowered basic attacks, it used to be 5 to 65 with 5 to 15% of his missing HP by level 17. It's now 5 to 45 with 4.5 to 11% maximum health by level to 15 instead of 16. 17 rather. So you reach the maximum amount by level 15 instead of level 17. Mordekaiser, the W shield to heal used to be 40 to 50%. It's now 35 to 45%, so 5% across the board. Not too bad. Morgana, the passive healing from abilities, it used to be 20%, is now 18% of all damage dealt against champions, large monsters, and medium and large monsters. So all jungle camps, the cannon minion and champions and stuff like Drake and all that is still going to heal you, but only 2% less, and it's not really that much. Nami's W heal used to be 60 to 160 with 30% of your AP, is now 55 to 135 with 25% of your AP. So the final rank is down quite a bit. Again, they mentioned that earlier. They want to tone down the early game just a tiny bit and late game quite a bit. So it's toned down by about 25 at the final stage and 5% less AP scaling. Nasus the dog. His passive lifesteal used to be 10 to 22%, is now 9 to 19% based on levels 1 to 13. Again, it's not anything too crazy. He still builds pretty tanky, so he'll still heal a decent amount. Nautilus, the W shield, used to be 45 to 85 based on level or ranking, and it used to scale off of 9 to 13% of your maximum HP. It's now 40 to 80, down 5 at all ranks, and it's now 8 to 12% of maximum HP. So it's down 1% in the final ranking. Literally, the E base heal, 35 to 115 with 32.5% of her AP, is now down to 35 to 95. So the first rank is unchanged, and the final rank is down by 20, and it's down 5% in AP scaling. It's going to make her clears a lot harder and less forgiving. Nocturne's passive healing from empowered basic attacks is down to 13 to 30 from 15 to 40 based on level, and down. So it used to have a 15% AP scaling, but now has a 30% AP scaling per enemy hit, and it's still reduced by 50% against minions, so lane Nocturne doesn't come back to be a thing. Odd. Nunu and Willem, the Q base healing as non-champions used to be 75 to 215 to 90% with your 10% bonus health. Now it's 65 to 185, so down about 30 at the last rank with 70% of AP instead of 90, so that's 20% reduction, and 6% bonus health instead of 10, so that's down about 4% as well. And it's still reduced against minions as well, right? So that's going to make his sustain a lot less and a lot easier to kill him, I believe. Olaf, passive lifesteal used to be 10 to 30% based on your level, is now 9 to 22.5, so a massive hit at the final ranking. And his W shield used to be like this is the new iteration of Olaf. When he presses W, now he gets a shield based on his missing HP. It used to be 10 to 150 with 25% of his missing health. Now it's 10 to 130, so down 20 at the final rank, and 22.5% missing health, so down 2.5% of his missing health in this instance. He's pretty okay now, considering, but I don't believe this nerf is gonna really do all that much to him. He was already not very well, like, scaled, but he's perfectly fine, if that makes sense. Ariana, her E shield used to be 60 to 220 with a 50% AP scaling, is now 55 to 195, so down 25 at the final rank, and it's down 5% of the actual scaling. So this is probably just going to make her even less playable, but who knows, with the durability changes and the added HP and armor and stuff like that, she might actually, scale better. Poppy's passive shield used to be 15 to 20% of her maximum HP based on levels 1 to 13, is now 13 to 18%, so only down 2% at every rank. Poppy's still kind of strong right now. I would still play her, honestly. Pike. Oh man, they already gutted him last patch. What are you going to do now? Oh, I have a game-ready driver, apparently. Pike's passive. Gray health upper cap used to be 60%, is now 55% of maximum HP. His passive damage to gray health, 10% with 0.25% per 1 lethality, is now 9% plus 0.2% of 1 lethality, or per 1 lethality rather. Decent nerf, is very minor. Passive empowered damage to gray health 45% plus 0.5% per 1 lethality is now 40%. So it's 5% less and 0.1% less per 1 lethality as well. Again, Pike is just turbo dog shit at this point with the money changes and whatnot, so I'm not sure why they're doing that. Rakan, his passive shield used to be 33 to 254 based on levels 1 to 18, and a 90% AP ratio is now 30 to 225, so about 29 reduction at the late game of base, and it's down 5% AP scaling. His Q heal used to be 18 to 120 based on levels 1 to 18, and 70% of his AP is now 18 to 90, so 30 down on the final ranking, and 55% of the AP, so 15% less on the AP scaling as well. His E shield used to be 40 to 140 with 80% AP scaling. It is now 35 to 135, so only 5 less shielding at all ranks, but it's down 10% of AP scaling as well. He's still going to be useful for his mobility, same as Pike, but I feel like Rakan won't really feel that all too much except for the Q healing. Rel, her Q heal per champion hit used to be 10 to 30 plus 5% of the missing HP, is now 10 to 30 base damage unchanged, or base amount heal unchanged, but it's now 4% of missing HP instead of 5, so down 1%. And the W crash down shield used to be 40 to 160 plus 13% of your maximum HP, is now 35 to 135, so down about 25, yeah. And minus 1% of the maximum HP as well for scaling. She's not, like, she's really good in competitive, but in solo queue, not so much. Renata Glass, her E shield used to be 50 to 130 with 50% of AP. It's 50 to 110. So the scaling is unchanged for Renata's shielding, but she's losing 20 on the maximum ranking of shield. Now for Renekton's gut. Healing against non-champions used to go from 2 to 6 base percent plus 3% bonus AD, is now 2 to 6 with 2% of bonus AD, so minus 1 on the scaling. Healing against champions used to go from 12 to 36 base, and 16% of bonus AD is now 10 to 26, so down 10 at the maximum rank, plus 15% of bonus AD, so minus 1% on bonus AD. His Q empowered healing against non-champions used to be 6 to 18, plus 9% of your bonus AD, is now 6 to 18 plus 6% of your bonus AD, so down 3% total. And the Q empowered against champions used to be 36 to, I believe, 108. Yes, plus 46% of your bonus AD. It's now 30 to 78 with 45% of your bonus AD. That looks like 40% bonus AD. So it's, the scaling is improved, but the base is nerfed by about 22. Again, I don't understand some of these numbers simply because they've nerfed his early game to a degree where he's no longer an early game champion, and they gave him some scaling on his R, the previous patches, and among other things, and changing his W and stuff like that. But if you're removing his identity as an early game champion, I'm not so sure that it's gonna do well for the champion themselves, because you're essentially trying to make the champion unplayable. His entire identity is being an early game bully that sustains, and you're removing almost half of his sustain at some point. So it's really hard to think that he won't be severely negatively impacted, by these changes. Riven, your E shield goes from 65 to 205 with 120%. Oh no, it's 85 to 205 with 120% bonus AD, is now 80 to 180. So down about 35 at the final rank, and 10% bonus AD scaling reduce. Again, her shield is pretty obnoxious and it's spammable, so this will impact it a little bit at the very least. Rumble's W shield, it used to be 60 to 200 with 50% of your AP, is now 60 to 180, so down 20 at the final rank, as well as down 5% of your bonus AP ratio. Not bonus AP, just total AP. Senna's Q heal. Her heal goes from 40 to 120 with 40% of bonus AD, is now bonus AD and AP is now 40 to 100, so 20% at the 20 less base. It's now 10% less on your bonus AD, but the AP changes are the AP scalings are the same, and instead of well, the lethality is there as well. It's unchanged. It's only the bonus AD that is being changed. And your R shield, it used to be 120 to 200 with 40% of your AP or plus 1.5 per soul. It's now 100 to 200. So the base is the same. It's unchanged in scaling, and the final rank is unchanged, but the early game is nerfed by 20 and nerfed by 10 at the second ranking as well. I was so confused for a second. Have I mentioned I'm exhausted? Seraphine, your W shield used to be 60 to 140 with 40% AP scaling. It's now 50 to 130, so only minus 10 at all ranks, and it's down 5% of your AP scaling. And now the W heal per ally used to be 5 to 7% with 0.75% per 100 AP. It's now 5 to 7%, so same base, and it's now 0.6 instead of 0.75 per 100 AP of targets missing HP. People keep telling Riot that she's a support, and Riot have this thing where they're trying to force her into the mid lane and keep buffing her damage, but it's just really buffing support. So maybe this shielding nerf will force her into mid lane, but I'm not too sure. Honestly, it doesn't. Seraphine's kit just works better as a support, in my opinion. Shen, your passive shield, it used to be 50 to 101 based on level with 14% of your bonus HP. It's now 50 to 101, base is the same. And now it is 12% of your bonus HP instead of 14. So it's down 2% for your bonus HP. So a little bit less obnoxious with the more HP you have. Your R shield used to be 140 to 500 with 17.5% of the bonus HP that you have. It's now 130 to 450, so down 50 at the final rank, but down only 10 at the first one. And it's 16% of the bonus HP, so down 1.5% on the bonus HP scaling there. It'll make his late game Rs a little less obnoxious, but he'll still be very useful. It's Shen. The champion's good. Q from Singed. During your R, the grievous wounds applied by your poison trail as Singed went from 40 to 30%, so 10% less. Not too bad. The Scion W Shield used to be 60 to 160, scaling up to 14% of max health as well. As well. It's now 60 to 160, so base is unchanged, and is now up to 12% of maximum HP instead of 14. So the scaling of it is a little bit reduced. Scion, the inting Scion stuff, a lot of people are going AD on him instead of tank, but tank is still very, very strong if played correctly. So it'll tone it down just a tiny bit, but it won't really remove most of the Scion players that you have that are running it down because Hullbreaker. Skarner, the double shield. Why are you nerfing? Skarner's shield is complete dog shit, dude. What the fuck? It used to be 10 to 40% of your maximum HP with 80% of your AP, is now up to 13% of your maximum HP with the scaling unchanged for AP. Again, this doesn't really do much, but I mean, I guess they really have to because of the entire update. Sona, your W shield used to be 25 to 125 with 30% of your bonus AP, or not bonus AP, just total AP. It's now 25 to 105, so nerf 20 at the final rank and 5% less scaling with AP. And the heal used to be 30 to 110 with 20% of AP. It's now 30 to 90, so 20 less at the final rank as well, with 5% again less AP scaling. Soraka's W heal used to be 100 to 220 with 65% of your AP, is now 90 to 170, so it's losing 50 healing on the final ranking, but also losing 50% of the AP scaling on it as well. The R heal used to be 130 to 300 with 55% of AP. It is now 125 to 285, so losing 15 on the final ranking and 5% of the scaling on it as well. That will very much tone her down quite a bit on the amount of sustain she has in lane for her 80 carry. But again, as long as she lands Qs on the enemy team, you're not really going to notice too much of a difference unless it's very intense, like 2v2 or like a full team fight. Swain. Oh. I was waiting for this one. Swain, passive healing per soul fragment used to be 4 to 9%. It is now 3.5 to 7% based on your levels 1 to 16 of maximum HP. And the R drain per second used to be 15 to 65 with 25% of your AP. It is now 15 to 45, so down 20 at the final rank, and 20% of AP, so 5% less scaling. This change is more than likely going to make Swain a little bit easier to handle, but again, with the way his kit is now, and I'm seeing people not even building Liandries on him. I've seen them build Moonstone to amplify the healing that he's doing. 1v5 an entire enemy team with just Moonstone. So we all know that there's item nerfs as well. Let's hope to God that Moonstone reduces that as well. It's reduced in general. He's still going to be strong. He's still going to out-sustain most mid laners and supports in this instance. So we'll have to see how that goes. Silas, your W heal. It used to be 25 to 125 with a 40% AP ratio. It is now 20 to 100, so down 25 at the final rank with 5% less AP ratio. Toning him down a little bit. Hopefully this will make him easier to handle. Tahm Kench, your Q heal. Again, I never really understood why they added a Q heal on Tahm Kench instead of just keeping his great health as it was, but who knows? It used to be 10 to 30 plus up to 6% of your missing HP based on level or ranking. It is now 10 to 20, so down 10 at the final rank, and it is down 1% of the missing HP as well of the final point in it. The E damage stored into gray health used to be 15 to 55% of it. It is now 13 to 45, so 10% nerf at the final stage and a 2% nerf at the beginning stage. And increased damage stored into gray health when there's more enemies around used to be 65% max rank, is now 50% max rank. This is effectively is going to make Tahm Kench even into less of a champion in the bot lane, but I feel like it's a decent nerf for top lane Kench into tanks. But for champions like Darius and stuff, or champions who do max percent HP damage, it's just going to gut his kit even more. He's not going to be able to sustain into them. Talon. Now, this is news to me. I didn't even know Talon had a heal on his Q, but Talon Q heal used to be 10 to 70 based on level, is now 9 to 55 based on level, 1 to 18. I would remove it personally, but you know, I'm not Riot Games. Tarek, your Q heal used to be 30 with 20% of your AP plus 1% of your maximum HP, is now 25 instead of 30, and 15% of your AP, so down 5% AP, and 0.75% of Tarek's maximum HP. So that's a decent chunk gone, but again, his heal is spammable, so it's not overall it'll be a lot of nerf, but in like most instances of like just one heal, right, it's not gonna be too much of a nerf. W Shield, it used to be 6, is that 6? No, it's 8 to 12%. It's now 7 to 11%, so a 1% nerf across the board of the target's maximum HP. Decent nerf, not too bad. Won't kill the champ. Now Thresh, instead of the health growth that everybody else is getting, Thresh is getting a little bit of bonus health growth because Thresh does not scale with, he doesn't scale and get armor with level, right? He doesn't have any armor growth at all. He's getting a bit of bonus HP per level because he does not receive the durability based stat package that everybody's getting of armor growth per level, right? He gets armor from the souls that he collects on the ground. So now the W shield used to be 60 to 180 with 2 plus 2 per soul. It's now 50 to 150, but that plus 2 per soul will effectively make it the same over time, right? It'll make it the same over time as he collects souls as it currently is, so he won't be too effective, or affected, not effective. And he's going to get more armor out of the souls in general, so it'll be more worth it. Probably for Thresh top lane. I know a lot of people who still play that, as well as support in the first place. Trundle, his passive healing used to be 2 to 7%, is now 1.8 to 5.5% based on your level of the enemy's maximum HP. It's going to make him a little bit easier to handle, and overall not too bad. Tryndamere, Q minimum heal used to be 30 to 70 with 30% of AP. It's now 25 to 57, so a hard nerf at the final rank of it, plus 30%. The scaling's unchanged. The Q additional heal per unit of Fury used to be 0.5 to 2.3 with an AP scaling. It's now 0.45 to 1.65, so it's down quite a substantial amount at the final ranking, but not too much of the early game, and the AP ratio is unchanged. Udyr, your W Shield used to be 60 to 235 with a 50% AP ratio. It's now 60 to 210, so down 25 like most champions, and it's down 5% AP ratio. And the heal used to be 2.5 to 5% of your missing health, is now 2 to 4% based on missing HP. So tiny little nerf. Urgot's E-Shield used to be 60 to 140 with 150% of your bonus AD and 15% of your bonus HP. It's now 55 to 135, so only losing 5 at the final ranking, but it's down 15% of your bonus AD, and it is down 1.5% of your bonus HP as well. I had to do math there for a second. I'm struggling out here. Yeah, it's going to make him a bit easier to handle, I believe, into certain matchups, but it shouldn't affect him all that much. Varus, your E Grievous Wounds went from 40% to 30%, same as most champions. They're losing 10% on whatever type of anti-heal that they have. Vi's passive shield loses 2% of the maximum HP scaling. Viego, oh my. The heal upon possession is going down 0.5% on basically... Okay, so it's going down 0.5% on the base and bonus AD scaling based on target's maximum HP, and the AP and attack speed ratios are the same. Q healing upon basic attacks against marked champions down 15%, and against marked monsters it's down 10%. But again, against minions it's still reduced to 10%, so lane Viego is not too oppressive. Victor, your Q shield down 10 at the final ranking, down 3 at the first one, up to levels 18, and it's down 2% AP ratio. Again, his shield was never the issue early game, but it's toned down at least a little bit in the late game, so it's nice. Vex, your W shield, it used to be 80% AP ratio with up to 170 shield, is now 150 at max rank and down 5% in scaling. A little easier to handle. Vladimir, infamous sustained drain tank shit, right? That does all of your HP as an AD carry. The Q heal went from 20 to 40 with a 35% AP ratio. It's now 20 to 40. Base is still the same. It's now losing 5% AP ratio. The empowered one is losing 0.5 on the missing health. No, it's losing 0.5 on the AP ratio, and the base is the same, and the missing HP is the same. Q empowered against minions has been reduced to 30% from 35%, and the R healing against subsequent targets is down 10% from 50 to 40. Volibear's W heal, it used to be 20 to 80 and scaling up to 16% of Volibear's missing HP. It's now 20 to 80. Base is the same. Is now up to 13% of Volibear's missing HP. So it's like most of the tanks here, their shielding is getting nerfed by like 2% because it's all based on HP and whatnot, so it already scales okay-ish. The E-Shield, it used to be 15% of your maximum HP with 80% of your AP. It's now 14% of the maximum HP and 75% of AP. So 5% nerf on the scaling and a 1% nerf on the maximum HP. Your R bonus health used to be 2 to 600 based on rank. It's now 175 to 525. So you're losing a pretty decent chunk at the final rank of 75 HP, but only losing about 25 at the first rank. Not too bad. Warwick's Q heal percentage used to be 30 to 90%, is now 25 to 75%. So a big 15% nerf on the final ranking of it, but not too much in the early game. Zin's passive healing used to be 7 to 92 based on level with 10% of your AD and 55% of your AP. Now it's 3% of your AD less in scaling, and the base is 6 to 74, so it's down about, give or take, 15-ish. Me doing quick math, by the way, of base, and only 3% less of AD scaling. The AP ratio has not changed at all. Yeah, so his passive passive shield used to be 115 to 525, is now 100 to 475, so down about 50. Yeah, 50 at the later rank and only 15 at the earlier one based on level. Yone's W shield, 40 to 60 based on level with 60% of bonus AD, is now 35 to 55. with 5% less AD scaling as well. So the wind shitters, they're getting their shieldings basically a slap on the wrist early game, like most champions. But Yone is getting a significantly less harsh shield reduction on his W than Yasuo's passive. Yorick's Q minimum heal, it used to be 12 to 82 based on level, is now 10 to 68. So he's getting 24 nerf, 24 heal nerf on his Q based on level. But again, Yorick is a split pusher, so he shouldn't be, he shouldn't be healing all that much in the first place, right? It was just nice that he did. Yumi's passive shield used to be 60 to 400 based on level and 30% of your AP. Man, I can't. I'm getting ragged in the amount I'm talking. I'm gonna have to go get water in between these takes. Is now 56 to 360, so 40 HP, no, 40 shielding nerf, and it's 25. It's 5% less scaling. And the E heal used to be 70 to 190 plus 35% of your AP. It's now 65 to 165, so it's a 25 nerf, and it's a 10% nerf on the amount of AP scaling as well. Zach's passive healing on consuming the little blobs that he has, it's down 0.75% at the maximum rank. It's not too bad. Going to be doing the items now, because this video is going to be hella fucking long. Across the board, all anti-heal is getting reduced by 10%. If you need to look at a specific one here, pause the video. Everything is down by 10%. And now we're on to different stats. Void Staff's Magic Pen is down by 5%. Blighting Jewel is down 2% for Magic Pen. The Armor Pen of Lord Doms is down 5%. Last Whisper down 2%. Demonic Embrace, it used to be 2 for melee or 1.2% for ranged, is now 1.8 and for melee and 1 for ranged maximum HP for the burn damage. Moonstone, the Starlit Grace is down to 60 from 10 for the healing. The heal and shield power is down to 5% per stack instead of 6. And the mythic passive of 10 plus to healing to Starlit Grace is now plus 8 per legendary item own. And it's the same for Ornn Masterwork. Sunfire Aegis is down 2% of damage amplification per stack. Death's Dance is now only 150% of bonus AD for the healing instead of 175. Divine Sunderer is down to 6% melee and 3% range maximum HP heal. Doran's Ring mana regen has gone up to 1 per second and increased to 1. Wait, I am confused about this. Maybe I don't know Doran's Ring. It's now 1 mana per second instead of 0.75, and it is also increased to 1.5% for 10 seconds. I believe when you kill a minion or something like that. The healing instead of mana used to be 50%, is now 45%, so it's a little bit less. Elixir of Wrath, the physical vamp is now 12% of 15 instead of 15. Fimble Winter Shield used to be 100 to 200 with 5% of current mana, is now 100 to 180, so down 20. At the later rank is 4.5% of current mana, so a 0.5% nerf. Gargoyle Stoneblade, the shield used to be 100 plus 100% of bonus HP, is now 100 plus 90% of your bonus HP. Gore Drinker Omnivamp is down 2%. And the Ceaseless Hunger stat used to be 15%, is now 10% for Ornn Masterwork item. Okay. So it used to be 15% for the Masterwork, and now it's 10%. And Omnivamp from regular Gore Drinker is 8%. The heal on it used to be 25% of your AD plus 10% of your missing HP, is now 20% of your AD and 8% of your missing HP. The Omnivamp from Hailblade and Ember Knife has been decreased by 1% for both. The self-heal from Knight's Vow is also down 1% for damage dealt by your worthy ally. Locket Shielding has gone down by 35 at the final ranking. And it's the same for the Ornn Masterwork. Maw has 10% Omnivamp instead of 12 now. Mikhail's heal is now down 20 at the final ranking. Phage heals 1.6 instead of 2% for melee and 0.8 for ranged instead of 1% of maximum HP. Redemption heal used to be 200 to 400, is now 180 to 340 based on level of the target, so not you, the person you're healing, or the damage, I believe, would also scale that same way. Riftmaker's Omni Vamp used to be 8%, is now 7%, and it used to be 10% for the Masterwork, is now 8% for Ornn's Masterwork. Seraph's Embrace used to be 35% of the mana spent, is now 25% of the mana spent for the healing on that. Shard of True Ice, the base mana regeneration used to be 100%, is now 115. Steric's Gauge used to shield for 75% of your bonus HP, is now 70, down 5%. Vampiric Scepter is down 1% in lifesteal. Bloodthirster is down 2% in lifesteal to 18% from 20. And the Overheal Shield used to be 50 to 350, is now 50 to 320, so down 30 at the maximum rank. Eclipse is down 1% Omnivamp and down 2% for the Masterwork to 8% for however you say this. The shield on it used to be 180, is now 160, with 35% of 80 down from 40%. And it's still 50% for ranged champions, obviously. Immortal Shield Bow used to be 8% lifesteal, is now 7, and it's 8 for the Masterwork item. The shield on it used to be 275 to 700. It is now 250 to 630, so it is down 70 at the final ranking. And that's it for items, I guess. Runes. Conditioning gives you 4% instead of 5 total armor and MR increase now. Conquer heals for 6% melee and 5% ranged instead of 9 and 8 respectively. Font of Life heals for 0.1% less of your maximum HP. Grasp heals for 0.3% less on melee and 0.18. I don't know where you're getting these numbers. Just round the numbers out, dude. It is down to 1.02% for ranged of your maximum HP, and then the damage scale is the same. Minus 0.5% on melee and minus 0.3 on ranged. Guardian used to be 5 to 30 based on levels, plus 15% of AP and 9% bonus HP. It's now 45 to 120 based on level, and 12.5% of AP and 8% bonus HP. So down 1% on the final scaling, and down 2.5% on your AP. Nullifying Orb used to be 40 to 120 based on level, and 15% of your bonus AD, 10% AP. It's now 35 to 110, so nerfed in the late game by 10 and only 5 in the early game. And it's now 14% of bonus AD instead of 15, and 9% of your AP, so it's down 1% for each. Overheal, it used to be 10 plus 10% of your maximum HP, is now 10 plus 9% of your maximum HP. Summon Airy used to be 35 to 80 based on level, and 40% of your bonus AD and 25% of your AP. Is now 30 to 75, so down by 5 at all ranks. And it's now down 5% bonus AD and 2.5% of your AP. Taste of Blood used to be, I believe, 18 to 35. Yeah, 18 to 35 based on level, and 20% of your bonus AD, 10% AP. Is now 16 to 30, so down 5 at the later rank and only down 2 at the earlier one. Based on level, and is now 15% of your bonus AD from 20, and 8% of your AP down from 10. Triumph used to be healing you for 12% of your missing HP, is now 10% of your missing HP. That'll be it for runes. Summoner spells, barrier shields for 44 less at the maximum ranking, and only 10 less at the earlier ranking. Heal is down 10 in the early game from 90 to 80. It's down 27 at the later ranks. That's interesting. Ignite is down 10% for grievous wounds. Smite heals you instead of 90 plus 10% of your maximum HP, is now 80 plus 7.5% of your max HP, so it's going to make clearing a little bit harsher on people. Dragon changes. The shielding is going down by 1.5% on your AP and your bonus HP, and down 2% on your bonus AD. Ocean Drain stacking regen buff now goes up to 8% instead of 10 per dragon slain. And the soul, the heal used to be 160 plus 36% of your bonus AD, 22.5% of your AP, and 9% of bonus HP, is now down by 30 for base. It is down by 10% on your bonus AD, down by 5.5% of your AP, and down 2% of your bonus HP. Baron Nashor has been buffed here. So the attack damage used to be 125 plus 8 per minute, is now it's going to be 150 plus 10 per minute, so even stronger. The maximum attack damage used to be 435, is now 520 at 40 minutes. The Void Corruption magic damage used to be 60 plus 20% of its AD, it's now 70 plus 20% of its AD, and it's updated the No More Unlucky. Baron now waits 30 seconds after taking damage before it can level up and gain stats. So like what happened at, I believe MSI, or was it in the LCS? I forget. Somebody tried to smite Baron and it healed as they smited and it got stolen away from them. So they've changed it so that it doesn't heal while you're taking it and cause these unlucky fights. Turrets are getting buffed as well. The AD is going up to 391 from 278. It maxes out at 13 minutes and 30 seconds. The inner turret, so the outer turret AD is going up to 391. Inner turret is 427. Inhib turret AD is going up to 427 as well. And the Nexus turret AD is actually going to 405. Okay. The mid-scope follow-ups. Swain. His R Demonic Ascension will now automatically recast when it expires. This will not occur if R Demonic Ascension ends due to his death, so you have to proc it if you're going to die. It also updated, so Swain will now fully refill his demonic power up upon champion takedown. So that little bar under his HP bar when he's ulting, when he kills somebody or assists in a takedown within the last like few seconds, then he's going to get that entire bar filled up again. Talia bug fixes. A few bug fixes that stopped her from queuing her spells correctly, or another bug where threaded volley will not always go on the correct cooldown if it was cast on worked ground. So you could like double cast and be really cancer and two-shot people with double damage, and a few side effects bugs. Behavioral and competitive systems. They're adding in honor recalls. So if you're honor 5 or honor level 3 and above and been honored by one or more non-premade or two of your premates, challenger recall gets a VFX update as well. Friend request blocking now, so you can block the people who spam you with those friend requests constantly, who are trying to flame you and stuff like that. And they're doing this to MMR duo restrictions. So people have been cheesing the MMR system by dodging games and losing LP for dodging in ranked, but also keeping your MMR higher and higher and higher to keep getting like challenger games while being in like D1 and stuff like that. So they're cracking down on that. Again, duo queue is really kind of shitty in the state of the game at the moment. Duo queue makes the game more fun for the duos, but less fun for the people playing against it, because a lot of the time what happens is that the duo queue is unbalanced, right? The enemy team will have like two duos and you'll have one duo on your team, and it's just unfair. They have more communication, they have more synergy, is what it is. It's kind of shit, but they're restricting these things in higher elo rather than lower elo. No idea if it's gonna trickle down or not, but we'll see with time. There's some VFX updates, as stated in previous thing. Nami and Twisted Fate are getting their VFX updates. As you can see here, if you want to see exactly which skin is getting what, pause the video. All right, and then for bug fixes and quality of life changes, if you're looking at it, look at it, pause it, do what you gotta do. And the upcoming skins at Chroma, so the second batch of High Noon skins are coming out. So you have Scion, Victor, Tomkin, Samira, and Twitch all getting their High Noon skins, as well as their Chromas. But that will be it for this patch rundown. Now, I expect a lot of this to negatively impact early game champions, simply because the amount of healing is less. Obviously, that's very good for a lot of other changes, because these champions have been scaling horribly. These champions have been scaling like really too fast. It's been speeding up the games. Tanks are one-shotting people who are building more damage focused, and you can at the current patch, you can miss 90% of your skill shots and still kill. You could just still kill. It doesn't matter. You can miss almost everything and still kill. But with this patch, you're gonna at least have to land 2 abilities at this point. 2 abilities at least. Come on. It should make it more rewarding to play champions properly. So assassins, there's nothing wrong with assassins one-shotting you as long as they use their full combo, right? But at the moment, assassins can use 1 ability and 1-shot an AD carry. Doesn't matter. AD carries are completely useless to play unless the team is completely playing around them, and even then they can still get one shot. So hopefully this will improve game health to a degree, but it's really going to take 2 to 3 patches before we realize just exactly how impactful they are. But yeah, if you enjoy these patch rundowns, if you want more in-depth kind of stuff like this, make sure to hit that like button down there and subscribe for more content. I might be a dumbass half the time, but I'll always give you a little bit of a rundown. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely day. Make sure to drink your water and eat your vegetables and all that shit. And stick around if you want more content. I love you all. You'll have a great day, and I'll catch you again at the next one. Goodbye.